One of our most admired presidents was the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Now, Abraham Lincoln, I read a biography about him. He lived by a lot of mottos, but one motto that he lived was the fact that you should never be afraid to fail. Now, he definitely lived that motto. Because Lincoln ran for Congress 4 times, he lost in the first 3 attempts. He ran for the Senate 3 times, he lost in the first 2 attempts. He ran for the presidency twice, he lost in the first attempt. And Lincoln believed that all those attempts and all that failure gave him his character and his tenacity. Because he believed that whenever he acquired those things that he acquired, he would have great appreciation for it. And that turns out to be one of the key tenets of today's gospel reading. Now, the gospel comes out of the 25th chapter of Matthew, verses 14 to 30. Now, in life, we all have to face challenges. And one challenge that every one of us have here as Christians, be Catholic, or maybe we have some Protestant visitors tonight, welcome. But every one of us are Christian. So when you wake up in the morning, that is your challenge. How am I going to live my Christianity today? Are you going to face that challenge of living your Christianity today? Being as Christ, turning the other cheek, being compassionate, being forgiving, being kind and gentle? Or are you going to say to yourself, I'm not going to do it today. I'm not even going to try to be a Christian today. Now, in today's gospel reading, there's 3 servants are given huge challenges. Let's find out how they live up to the challenges. Let's take a look at verse 25, chapter 25, verses 14 to 15. Now, Jesus told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and trusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, the third 1, each according to his ability. Then he went away. Now, the man is not identified by name. We have no idea who this guy is. Although we don't know the man by name, we do know several things about this man. He was a wealthy man because he had servants. Only the aristocrats had servants. So this guy had some substantial wealth backing up. He had servants. Now, he gave these servants, according to their ability, talents. Now, he didn't give them the ability to dance or sing or play an instrument. A biblical talent was a round disc made out of gold, almost a coin, like a thick plate, dinner plate. It was substantial. And when you had one of these talents, you had a lot of money. So clearly this fella has 8 of these talents. He gives these 8 talents to 3 servants. And he's going to be curious, what are they going to do with the talents that I give them? Now, it turns out to be that the talents back in biblical times, these large coins, today they would have a value of about $1 million. So they were substantial. He clearly trusted these 3 servants. So he gives them these talents, and then he goes away. Let's find out what they do with the talents he gave them. Let's look at verse 16, 17, and 18. Immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded them and made another 5. Likewise, the one who received 2 made another 2. The man who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. Now, when you look at that, all 3 were given challenges. 2 of the servants rise to the occasion of the challenge because they doubled the master's talents. They doubled his money. But the one servant, given only 1, still a man whom that master trusted, why did he bury the money? What was he lacking? Any idea? Why didn't they do something when the talent was given? As the master is going to say to him, you should put it in a bank. At least that could have had some interest. What happened to this 3rd servant? Let's take a look at verse 24 and 25. We're going to find out. Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting wheat to plant and gathering wheat to not scatter. So out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back. What happened to this 3rd servant? Why didn't they do something with the talent? What does it say there? Out of fear. He was afraid. There it is. Out of fear, I went and buried your talent so you could have it back. I was afraid to take it to a bank and try to get some interest. I was afraid to try to trade off that talent like the other 2 did. I was fearful. You see, fear incarcerates in life. This man clearly did not have the tenacity of Lincoln. And when you are fearful in life, you're not going to try things you might want to try. When you worry about things, you say to yourself, I'd sure like to do this, but I don't think it's going to work, so I'm not even going to try. That's unfortunate. It's always said that a skier who believes he or she is going to fall, falls. Once they think that's what's going to happen, they begin to predict the very future. The challenge of being a Christian. Wake up in the morning and say to yourself, I'm going to do everything what I should do being a Christian. I'm going to be loving and compassionate. The challenge of being a good husband or good wife. What does that challenge really require? It's easy to love someone when they are perfect. It is more difficult to love someone when they are imperfect. It is easy to love someone when they never need to receive your forgiveness. It is more difficult when they need your forgiveness. When you have to walk up to that person, especially if they say, I'm sorry, and you say, well, I understand, that's okay. You're forgiven. Even if you don't know why they did what they did, at least to say you're forgiven. That's the challenge of Christianity. That's what it takes. How many people live up to the Christian challenge? It's difficult. How many people are fearful to be a good husband, to be a good wife, to be a good student, to try to see how many rungs of the ladder you can climb? The higher you get, you say to yourself, I'm afraid of heights, I'm going to turn around and not even try to ascend any further. You know, the San Diego Zoo is a very beautiful zoo. It's massive. One of the great zoos of the entire country, maybe to some extent the world. Every animal in the San Diego Zoo is incarcerated. Every animal is caged. Every one of them, all except the giraffe. The giraffes are the only animals in San Diego Zoo not in a cage. All the other animals are in a cage. Now, the giraffes live on an island, a relatively large island. And there is a moat traveling around the entire island. A moat, like a large creek, wide, running water. All the giraffe has to do is walk over to that instead of just getting a drink of water out of the moat. Just walk to the moat and walk across the moat, and guess what happens? He's free. He can run all around the zoo. He can run around San Diego. He can run around California, go over and visit Arizona and New Mexico. That's all he has to do, is just walk across the moat. But why doesn't he? Because he's afraid. Giraffes never cross water. They drink from it along the bank. But they are so afraid of breaking their neck, if they start to walk across the water, I might trip and fall and break my neck. They don't even try. They just always stay on the bank side of the water. Freedom is just on the other side, but they're afraid. How easy it is in life to be afraid. To be afraid to try. To say to yourself, I would like to become whatever you fill that blank in with. And then you say to yourself, I'm not going to try because I might fail, I might get an F, I might be denied, I might be turned away, I might be told no. So instead of enduring the pain of all those things, I'm not even going to try. Lincoln was right. Never be afraid to fail, because when you fail, when you're afraid to fail, and so you don't try, you've failed already. Our prayer tonight, especially for anyone here who's fearful, who's afraid of really being a Christian, who's afraid to forgive because it might be painful, who's afraid to call up a brother or sister you haven't spoken to in a long time, because you say to yourself, it's their turn to make up, not mine. But if you're a Christian and they're a Christian, it's actually both of yours. Someone has to have the courage to do it again and again and again and again and again. And you might say it, but if I call up and I say, hey, let's get our relationship started again, they might turn me back. They might say no. I'm afraid to hear the answer. You're stuck on an island, afraid to cross the water. Heavenly Father, give anyone here the courage, the ability to face their fears, to deal with their struggles, to take on their challenges. If they fall, be there to pick them up. If they don't fall and they succeed, be there to applaud.